there's organic opportunities that are right in front of you. Now, I talk to business owners, my sales team, I listen to calls. Everyone says the same thing. I don't have enough customers, right? I don't know where to get leads from. Did you go to the dry cleaner today? Does the dry cleaner know that you do HVAC? Do they have an HVAC unit in their dry cleaning business? And in their house, right? And they'll go, yeah. Did you ask them?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Home Service Hustle. I'm your host, Jonathan Bannister, and today I'm with Charlie Cina. And Charlie is the founder and owner of OneTapConnect. He's also the author of the book Expose and Close here. And Charlie has worked with some of the top speakers and trainers from Les Brown, Tony Robbins, John Taffer of Bar Rescue, and Charlie is going to drop some amazing value and information today, talking about how to close more deals using technology to help you do that. And he comes from the home service space, and this is going to be great. Charlie, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, excited to be here, man. Love the home service hustle.
Absolutely. So you and I met you last year at an event in Austin, and it was actually my business partner on the commercial air conditioning side who comes and grabs me at the event. And he was like, dude, you got to come check this device out. And he had already purchased it and then says, come on, you got to get it for the marketing side as well. So the device that we're talking about, kind of show everyone here, one of our OneTapConnect packets here, right? And so, Charlie, just talk a little bit about how did you get into this space? Obviously, you've got a huge sales background. You've worked with some of the biggest speakers in the industry. So let's just maybe start before we dive too much into OneTap. Let's talk about the history of Charlie.
Yeah. So, I mean, I started, my hustle, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years old in Buffalo, New York. Everything from, shoveling driveways back in the day to mowing lawns in the summer. And then I saw this guy that used to pull down to the end of our street every day about 4:00 in a Cutlass Supreme, and he used to throw these newspapers in his trunk and drive away. And the lady at the end of the block, this is old school, right? When people actually got papers delivered to their house, but the lady at the end of the block would get all the paper boys to come to her house, collect the paper so they can go and deliver. So as a young kid, again, 10, 11 years old, I'm watching this. Everyone was showing up on their bikes, but this one dude would show up in his, Cutlass Supreme, throw him in his trunk and drive away. So one day I drove my bike down there and I go, hey man, what's your name? And again, I don't remember his name. I'm going to say Bill. And I'm like, you look a little old to be delivering, papers. I go, where's your route? Well, he had a route in a high-rise tower, the only high-rise tower like within miles, right, of any community. It was a 6-story studio apartment. So it was air conditioned in the summer and heated in the winter. He's like, well, yeah, he goes, it only takes me 7 minutes to do my route. He goes, but you know what? I am getting kind of old. I said, well, how can I get your paper route? He said, give me $100, kid, and you got it. I said, okay. So I went to my bank, pulled out the cash out of my bank there, my piggy bank, and gave him the 100. And that was my first, I guess, business deal where I then, learned that not only was it cool and buying this guy's business, but I was the only one that had air conditioning in the summer, heated in the winter, which was huge in Buffalo, right? And I used to take the elevator to the top floor and literally 6 to 10 minutes, deliver all the papers. And then that taught me really the whole notion of the more you introduce, the more you produce, right? The more doors I knocked, the more papers I delivered. And again, old school, I had to go every week to collect the money for the paper. So every week it was like $1.05. So I'd go to collect the $1.05 from Jonathan and he'd say, here, kid, here's $2, keep the change. Or here's $5, keep the change. So I learned that the more you introduce, the more you produce, and the more papers I sold, not only the more money I make off the subscription, but then I was getting all of the tip money. So I didn't realize it till later in life, Jonathan, but that really taught me a lot, because every door I knocked, some people said yes, but a lot more people said no. But it taught me, diligence. It taught me tenacity, and it taught me the ability to, what I've coined as a term that we use here at OneTap called GBI. And
Okay.
that means go back in, right? How do you go back in? How do you knock again? How do you overcome an objection? So that's where I kind of, you know, uh, gained my introduction to the wonderful world of sales, and learned about rejection, how to overcome it, and really learned that it's much better to learn how to sell than go into something where it's dollars earned for time spent, right? Much better than an hourly wage type of scenario, in my opinion.
So talk to me about from there, like where did you spend the most of your background in sales? What did you continue to do to craft your sales techniques? And then what did you do in the peak of your sales career that then I guess led you into what, sales training? Is that where it went?
Yeah. So what happened was, in high school, I sold shoes, right?
Okay.
My junior and senior year, I sold shoes. That taught me a lot, right? How to meet and greet people, the art of suggestion. And again, how do you go back in, right? You say, I don't like this shoe. That, it taught me, guy comes in to look at a pair of black shoes, you bring out 3 pairs of black shoes. If he says, give me that one, give him 3 more options. So everything I did, I was learning. And then I got into being a waiter, right? Well, that taught me, again, the art of suggestion, right? The more food you sell, you're getting 15-20% of the ticket. So I
Yep.
wanted to sell, wine, and I wanted to sell desserts, and I wanted to upgrade them to the special. And then I had scholarships. My goal initially was to pursue a career in hotel restaurant management. So I went to a junior college in Buffalo, New York. And then I had scholarships to finish school here at UNLV in Las Vegas. And as I was going to school, I started selling advertising specialty products to contractors. So as I sit here and talk to you and reflect, my whole life, if I wasn't in the construction or contracting business, I've been around it in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
As a matter of fact, one of my summer jobs as a kid was working for my neighbor that was a concrete mason contractor, and I'd start sweeping his trucks and mixing mortar and concrete and et cetera. So it's funny how I'm reflecting on all this right now. I've always been around the construction home services space in some way, shape, or form. But that being said, I came out here. I'm on the phone now selling pens, t-shirts, hats to contractors. And this is, 86, 87, 88. And we didn't have this thing called internet. We didn't have this thing called FaceTime. If you wanted to sell, I had to learn the art of presentation. I had to learn how to speak. And what I did learn at that time is that words trigger pictures, which trigger emotions, which lead to action steps. So if I wanted to get your attention, man, I had to really know how to use the right words, the right timing and flow, enunciation, and et cetera, to not only cold call you, get you on the phone, but then pique your interest, and then on the spot, close a deal for $400, $500, $600, $1,500 for, pens, hats, keep tags, and t-shirts, where when I called you, you may have never had the intention of buying. So that sales position to me back then, being on the phone, that really was, learning how to be tenacious, learn grit, learn the art of presentation, make sure your rebuttals were, memorized, and you had everything in your arsenal to keep that person on the phone and not hook you. Right. And that's where I really learned a lot of my sales skills that I still use to this day, whether we're in person, online, or offline. That position taught me a lot.
So you mentioned there that having to, before the internet, and having to, speak a certain way to be able to show that visual in their head to trigger that emotion. How much, like, do you feel that because people still cold calling is still a thing today, right? Like, and do you feel how important is tonality when you're communicating with someone over the phone who can't necessarily see you?
Well, tonality is huge, right? Tonality on the phone is everything, even right now when we're speaking, right? Tonality. Now, here's the good news. I'm doing this unconsciously, and now I'm being animated, right? But even using your hands and body language sells more. So we have, how many senses? 6?
Right.
Right? Or 5? What is it? 5 or 6? I get confused because I always say that I think it's the 6th sense is common sense, which not too many of us use, right? But you can see, you can hear, you can taste, you can touch, but people don't use common sense. But when you incorporate all of them and you make the experience visceral, that's the game changer, right? So my whole thing is, how do you present yourself in a way that's unforgettable at the first point of contact, where you can connect with people at a high level, convey your marketing message, who you are, what you do, how you serve people, and then how do you start that conversation so it keeps going, and then you're converting that conversation into what's hopefully your ideal client.
Okay. So what takes place from those early years of you doing that? What triggered you into wanting to teach people how to do sales?
Well, that was an evolution. When I was on the phone, I got introduced, obviously, to the art of selling and presenting, and then I started in an assistant management position. And the next thing you know, I had 30 people on the phone, and I was training them on the phone, right? We go into classes before. Every day we'd come in and train 30 to 45 minutes. We would role play. We would go over the script, right? Everybody, in my opinion, in whatever business you're in, should give your sales team a script. Everybody. People go, oh, I don't like scripts. It's it's this or it's that. No. Academy Award winners have scripts. Actors have scripts, right? That's why you can go to a movie and laugh, cry, or whatever. And then that's why movies sell more tickets. You get people emotionally involved. So that led me to start managing people. And then as I got into other industries, I found out that the formula for selling is really the same. Whether you're on the phone, whether you're speaking on stage, whether you're knocking the door, whether you're on a podcast. What do I need to do? I need to introduce myself, build rapport, and gain credibility. Then I need to identify somebody's problem, right? I need a air conditioning unit. I need shoes. I need whatever, a computer. Who's the solution? Well, the solution is Charlie Cina, right? I sell computers, or I sell sales, whatever. But talk is what?
Cheap.
Talk is cheap. Right? The difference between the pro and the novice is you don't know how to go in and show the truth, authenticity, and proof that you can deliver. So everyone wants to be a closer or be a hardcore closer. And I'm telling everybody, listen, it's not about the close. It's about the open. You've heard the term, you had me at
hello,
right? So learn how to say hello. Learn how to connect with people at a high level. Learn how to brand and position yourself at hello as the expert. And then as you take people through the path, right, the yellow brick road, for lack of a term, you're helping them connect the dots. And if they're a prospect and you do connect at that high level with clarity through your marketing message, they will want what you have. And then you don't have to convince them that you have what they need. So as I pursued my career and got into different businesses, I just lived my life through that formula. Now, full transparency, Jonathan, I didn't know I had a formula, right? Until one day a mentor said to me, dude, you have a system. And I'm like, okay, I have a system. He's like, yeah, you know how to do this and you know how to do that. Let me just help you learn how to present it with a little more clarity. So, I've mentored under the best of them, even to this day. my son will go, who do you watch? I'm watching Les Brown. Well, Dad, you've watched him before. Yep. And I'm going to watch him again. And I'm going to listen to Jonathan's podcast, and I'm going to listen to Tony Robbins, and I'm going to listen to Grant Cardone. And I'm going to listen to everybody, because if I can hear one word track or see one piece of technology, or go to a conference and get introduced to one more guy that buys my product and then puts me on his podcast, right? I'm winning. But people don't see big picture, and people don't understand that every action step that you take now, 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 not next week, not tomorrow, not when I get around to it. Okay. Right now, when you do it now, you've won, right? You're chalking up the wins. And one day, as I was mentoring somebody and I'm having this same conversation, I said, write down the word now. And they're like, NOW. I'm like, now spell it backwards. And they go, one. I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't know if that's it. I said, I'm just hitting you with that. I don't know if that's a secret or I just decoded something. I go, but how is it when you do it now and you spell it backwards, you've won. So word is code. Right now we can all relate to, coding and programming, and right. But what you say triggers pictures, which triggers emotions, which lead to action steps. Now, one thing I'm learning late in life is about vibrations and frequencies. Are you familiar with any of this?
I am.
Okay. I've been saying it for many years, and I don't know where it came from. I'll just go, man, that guy Jonathan's cool, man. He oscillates at a high frequency. So when you see high level people that are making shit happen, you go, wow, that guy's a player, or I want to be around that guy. Well, why? It's energy, right? Everything's energy.
Yeah.
People oscillate at a high frequency, right? Just like when people say, oh, that guy gave me a bad vibe, or that guy gave me a good, or that guy gave me a good vibration, or that guy gave me a bad vibration, right? Or gal, whatever the case is. So what I'm learning is that when you learn certain words, when you incorporate body language, when you incorporate eye contact, okay, and everything is clear as far as what you're saying and projecting, well, the person that you're talking to is receiving that. Therefore, instead of being down here trying to tune in the radio with static, right, you're coming in with Dolby, whatever, 3D, 4D sound, and now that is helping you oscillate and connect it at a higher level and convert at a higher level. So, the older I'm getting and the more people I'm around and the more I observe high level players, right, that I want to mentor me, that's what I notice. It's a real thing, and what you say makes a difference, and you have to oscillate at a higher frequency.
That's a lot there. Yeah, I don't think enough people really understand the whole, like you said, everything's energy. And when you really look at it that way, it kind of puts the whole world into a different perspective for you. And that, I think there's, I think if you can surround yourself, that whole saying of surround yourself by the people that you want your life to be like. But the problem is it's all that is you want to be around the people that are at that higher frequency. Like they're getting shit done and they're making moves happen, but it's because they're out there actually putting one step forward every single day. And that's why those results are happening. Yeah.
So let's just put it in its most simplest form, right? Because when I look back, I say, okay, for example, I lost about 35 pounds in the past 2 years. And one of the guys that helped me do it, I'll go, damn, why didn't I meet you 30 years ago? Like,
right.
Why did I wait? Why was I carrying all that weight? I'm going to the gym. Do I like going to the gym? No, not necessarily. I don't like it. But now when I don't do it, I don't feel right. I know that if I go, no matter what state of mind I'm in, I know when I go, I'm going to feel that much better when I get done. So I say that to say it becomes a discipline. Right now, I just condition myself to wake up at 4 a.m. Do I like waking up at 4 a.m? No, but I do it. And now that I do it, it becomes part of my lifestyle. I'm checking off that win, right? I have that much more energy when I get to the office. And now when I speak to people, or I'm going and knocking a door or running a lead or meeting a guy at a show like yourself, right? I don't think we'd be in front of each other, and you would have been so kind to put me on your podcast if I didn't make a good first impression. So that's the big key. You know, when people say to me, if I say, what do? You know, I'll meet people everywhere, right? But I'm going to say it shows. You know, they'll say, I'm just a salesman for an HVAC company. I'm like, brother, don't ever say that. You're not just a salesman. First of all, you're generating revenue for the company, right? But when somebody says that, that tells me that there's some type of disconnect with what they're doing, right? So then how do you get that mentor? You know, what are you reading? Who are you hanging around? What are you doing to make a difference in your business, especially if you're a salesperson? I believe if you're a salesperson, you become a pseudo partner of that company, right? You might not be a stock owner, but you're a pseudo partner between the owners of that company or that company and your entity, you, because every deal that you bring to the table, in most instances, you're getting a piece off of top line. Mm-hmm. The more you bring, the more you make. Yep. The more you bring, the more you make, the more attention you're going to get of your, you know, your managers or the owner of the company. Trust me, and you already know this, they don't want you to go anywhere. Right? Your stock price goes up, which means, you know, you can now ask for more, or you're going to, you know, get a raise, or maybe a different position, or you're going to have people under you that you get an override on, or whatever. But, you know, you just have to see you in a much higher light. And it starts off with all the basic things of, you know, getting up, working out, having a clean, you know, mindset, and going through and doing the things that, you know, unfortunately you don't like to do, / we don't like to do. But, you know, those mundane things are what makes the difference in the daily life to help you get to the next level.
You got to build the calluses. So I like to think about it. I started my 11 and 12-year-olds, started getting them into the gym. It's been about 5 months now, and like to see their transformation's been just wild. But like every day they go with me every morning to the gym. This morning I woke up at like 5 and I just wasn't feeling all that great. And I don't set an alarm because I naturally wake up usually 5:30 anyways. But I went back to sleep and I opened my eyes at like 7:15, and my 12-year-old's like looking at me. He's like, "Oh, your alarm didn't go off?" I was like, "Oh, I don't set one." But the 11 and 12-year-olds sitting by the front door, their shoes are on. They were ready to rock and roll and go to the gym. But last week, the 11-year-old was not feeling well. He was super tired, and he had a real good workout, and he felt great on the way home. And I just told him, I said, you know, they asked me the other day, like, what is these things on my hands? I was like, oh, those are like calluses that you're getting from the bars or using the equipment at the gym. And I said, but I want you to know that it's funny you asked me that question today, because this morning you didn't feel like going. I said, but I'm going to tell you that those mornings that you don't want to go and you go anyways, like you're building these calluses on your mental state. And I said, don't even worry about now in the gym, but like later on in life, when life starts throwing you some curveballs, you're just going to be able to deal with things a whole lot better and different than your peers are going to be able to, because you are doing things that you don't have to go do right now. You want to get up and go and do this for no other reason than for yourself. And the fact that when those days come that you don't want to, and a lot of people will get back in bed and not do it. And I said, I'm telling you, like those people will struggle later on in life, whether it's with food or it's with some other type of vice or addiction. I was like, you will be able to crush it, you know? So, all right, let's pivot. Let's start talking about expose and close.
Yep.
And let's talk about OneTapConnect here, OneTapConnect.
Yeah. So one of the things I realized as I was out there, you know, in business, recruiting people into my businesses to sell, or even talking with other business owners, most people don't like to sell, right? They either don't think they have to sell, or they're not salespeople. But at the end of the day, if you're a doctor, lawyer, baker, candlestick maker, right, you need clients. You need people to walk into your business, and they need to buy your product or retain you as a client. So client acquisition, customer acquisition is paramount. So when I wrote Expose and Close, right, it's simple networking, marketing, and sales techniques to activate, acquire, and achieve success. And again, I built it around my sales formula, right? How do you say hello? One of the first things I teach anybody, including my kids, when they literally were old enough, we'd be in an elevator, get on the elevator, they're in my arms, they were just starting to learn to talk. And I would say, they'd make eye contact with somebody, and I'd say hi to that man, ask him his name. And they'd say, hey, my name is Sophia, my name is Charles, right? And they'd start a conversation. And we'd go on vacations, and I'd say, here, kids, here's $10, go get an ice cream. And I'd watch them, right? My wife and I would be watching, right. But they were old, 4 or 5 years old. They were old enough to say, they'd wait in line, and my son would say, hi, my name's Charles. This is my sister, Sophia. We'd like ice cream. Oh, Charles, Sophia, what would you like? You get the ice cream. Then he'd come back to me with the ice cream, and he'd hand me the $10. And I'd go, son, you didn't pay the man. And I'd walk him back, and I'd say, I'm sorry, my kids. And they'd say, oh, no, ice cream's on us. I'm like, pardon me? Oh, your kids? He came up, he asked me my name, right? Now, that happened to me over the course of several years, like in Rotary, right? And then one day it dawned on me, and I'm like, man, that's happened to me all my life. My dad taught me a very basic skills. Stick out your hand. Hi, my name is. Let everyone know who you are. Let everyone know your brand. So I say all that to say, because that's my first chapter, like one of my first chapters, right? There's organic opportunities that are right in front of you. Now, I talk to business owners, my sales team, I listen to calls, like whatever. Everyone says the same thing. I don't have enough customers, right? I don't know where to get leads from. Did you go to the dry cleaner today? Does the dry cleaner know that you do HVAC? Do they have an HVAC unit in their dry cleaning business?
And in their house? And in their house?
And in their house, right? And they'll go, yeah. Did you ask them for their business? Do they even know that that's what you do? Well, no. Well, then, shame on you. So I say that to say there's organic opportunity. So I wrote the book, first chapter, how do you shake a hand? How do you build rapport? How do you get testimonials from people, right? What tools are you using to get attention? And I go through very basic step-by-step things that I've done, and then I back it up with truth, authenticity, and proof. For example, you mentioned John Taffer at the beginning. I acquired John Taffer as a client. My other business is I represent a company called Lightspeed VT. We do online training platforms for speakers, trainings, businesses, right? I've been doing that now for going on 13 years. At the end of the day, I wanted to acquire John Taffer. So I cold called him, couldn't get him on the phone. Tried to get his managers on the phone, couldn't get him on the phone. I found out that he was moving to Vegas. I got the address. I go to his office. No appointment. There's a sign on the door, no solicitation, with a buzzer. Guess what I did? I rang the buzzer, right? I wasn't there to solicit him on anything. I was there to bring him a new opportunity that would help him generate revenue online and offline. So go in, ask for John. He's not there. I had my power presentation down. They said, what's this pertaining? I said, I empower speakers, trainers, and reality show stars to create online training platforms to monetize their content worldwide. And I want to do for John what I did for the cake boss, Buddy Valastro. You know the cake boss, Buddy Valastro? They said, oh, you work with Buddy? I said, yes, I do. And I want to work with John. Well, he's not here. Vice president walks out. My power presentation, boom, same thing. What do you do? Who are you? I am Powers. Went through the whole thing, right? 2 days later, I get a call, book an appointment with John. We ink a deal. What'd I do? I just showed up and rang the bell, brother. I had my marketing message down with clarity. I was oscillating at a high frequency. Now, I wasn't even as conscious about that back then. I just started reflecting, right, and saying, why is that? So that's what I want to impress upon, people in numerous businesses. It's the simple things that you get good at. Why? I'm not a basketball guy. I'm not a sports guy personally, but I respect those that advance in the game, like a Kobe Bryant. What did he do? He got really good at free throws. He got really good at three-pointers. He got really good at dribbling that ball, running plays, right? Sprinting. He worked after a game, would go rent a gym in whatever town. So it's all the basics over and over and over again. And then just look at what's in front of you. And to me, the opportunities show up.
So you talk about, it almost sounds like you put in the reps, it all gets better. It gets clearer. Your messaging, everything gets better. How much, how important, you talk about the introduction, the saying hello, obviously you just got to get in front of those people. Let's talk about the follow-up. Like in sales, what do you feel is the right follow-up no matter what industry that you're in?
Well, let me back up for a second. If you're introducing yourself, you're building rapport, and you're gaining credibility quickly at hello, and then you're identifying the problem. I need a roofer. I need an HVAC person, right? That's what your prospect is essentially saying, or those are the people that you're looking for. And then you're raising your hand going like this, right? Trying to get their attention. And you're saying, I'm the guy. We're the company. Okay. And that talk is cheap. You need to show truth, authenticity, and proof. What is that? Before and after shots of your jobs, testimonials from your customers. Okay. Something to show that you can deliver. Google reviews, Yelp reviews. But most people are going to show up to a job or meet me at a networking event and hand me a paper card. And then when you say, what do? I'm a contractor. Here's my card. Oh, can I get your card? Can I get your number? Now Jonathan gives me his number. Now I call Jonathan for follow-up just to get an appointment, and I'm chasing Jonathan, and the guy's not responding. He's not responding. Jonathan's not responding because Charlie did not impact or influence that particular individual as an HVAC professional and expert. He's just another contractor, right, that might come to his house and overcharge him, not show up, or if he completes the job, is going to leave his house dirtier than when he hired. Do you understand? Let's face it, that's what our client. I've been in home improvement. Right? When I used to go into a job, I got really good. I'd go into my pocket and pull out booties, surgical booties. And I'd go, oh, can I come in and give you? Oh, sure. And I put on the booties. And they would either say, oh my gosh, you're awesome. We just put new carpets in. And I'd say, oh yeah, don't you hate when people come in your house, Jonathan? Right? They're there to fix your house, but they don't even have the common courtesy to take their shoes off or make sure that their feet are protected.
Right.
Or the response that I would get is, Charlie, that's not, please don't take your, are you sure? Oh no, honestly, I'm going to be mopping the floor today. Please don't take your, now, if they told me that, I'd respect them because I already earned their respect and came from a place of good intention. Now that's a really inexpensive, small move to make.
Yeah.
Right? But especially when you're dealing with the woman of the house, who's in charge, by the way, you can tell me that you're the head of the household all you want, Jonathan, but she's the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So at any rate, those are just all little things that I wanted to put into the book, because if you do the things correctly to position you as the expert and engage people in the proposal process, the follow-up, instead of being this much, becomes this much. And now it's really price, or maybe one little piece of uncertainty that you can go back in and overcome quickly to shorten your sales cycle. So I do believe in follow-up. And I'll do everything from the very basic of, send a text, send an email. Now I take this, I record stuff, and I send video emails. I use a service online called BombBomb, where you can record off your computer screen and I can send people video emails. I send notes, I send cards. I just literally today sent a guy and his whole team lunch. It's probably going to cost me $200. Now I'm already doing business with that guy. I just went to a show where I spent money with him. He took such good care of me and my team, and his team was so on point. We had a meeting today. I said, "What do you guys think of that event?" "Oh my God, his people were so nice. We had a great event. It was the second time I went to this event." He's local in Vegas. I just sent his whole team lunch. Well, why would I do that? Well, number one, I'm doing it from sincerity. I really like the guy and his team, and I want to acknowledge them. But do you think that they're going to forget that I sent them lunch?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. What's it? The cost is minimal, right? But the impact of me showing that I care and appreciate them, I'm building that relationship. So it's not about being a closer, CLOSER. It's about becoming closer. How do you build a relationship? How do you become closer with that prospect? How do you become closer with that client? Right? Let's just reflect on how we got here. I called you, correct?
You did.
Okay. I didn't say put me on your podcast. Your podcast was quite honestly the furthest thing from my mind. You're my client. I know you're a high-level player. I'm looking at this, talking to my director of operations and my partner. Your name came up and I'm like, dude, how am I not following up with this guy? This guy's a high-level player that loves our product. He's a client, right? I know you're an advocate of the product because your partner uses it and you have gotten me referrals.
Yeah.
Right? But my whole thing is client, advocate, friend. So I called you up. We start talking. We schedule a call. I'm like, dude, what do you need from me? Tell me what you need. How can I help you? And you're like, well, bro, like, you're right. How can I help you? Well, I should put you on Home Service Hustle. So that's how we got here. So I know it needs to become an unconscious competence where you're coming from a place of good intention. And when you're coming from a place of good intention and you're clear on your marketing message and you have the proof that you can deliver for people, people are automatically going to want you in their fold. Why wouldn't they want you around them in some way, shape, or form, or want to help you? And now it just becomes a natural progression or evolution of the human condition where people want to hang out and do business with people like that they know, like, and trust. And we've all heard it, but here's you and I doing this podcast and a true example of how we got here.
I love that about being closer instead of trying to be a closer. I mean, that it just, if people would take that approach and it's more about what value you can really bring to that person, you will close more deals every single time.
Now, can I tell you when that hit me? 2 years ago, I'm at a chiropractic conference speaking, doing my expose and close keynote speech that my wife is tired of hearing. She goes, "You're doing it again." I go, "Baby, it's old to you. It's new to the people that I'm talking to."
Yeah.
Now, why am I telling everybody that? Because what you're doing might be old to you. It might be redundant, but you're an expert. Okay. People need to know that you're an expert. You need to do it with passion every single time. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm at this conference. I get up, I put up this slide, and I say, truth, authenticity, and proof. You need to come from a place, right? And then I say, I need a volunteer. I need you to read that to me. You need to become a relationship, and the guy says closer, because I kept putting that into my speech, right? So guy comes up, and I looked at him, and I go like this. I go, no, dude, that's not what it says. He goes, what do you mean? It's right there, relationship closer. I go, no, you need to become a relationship closer. Like, I didn't even realize it. I made that speech at that point probably 300 times. And I'm like, dude, I've been telling my people the wrong thing. I've been telling my audience the wrong thing. It ain't about becoming a relationship closer. It's a relationship closer. So
are the words spelled the same way?
Yeah. But why am I?
Because I wrote it down here on my notes, and I'm going like, I think you spell it the same way.
Yeah, it's the same way, right? But there's the epiphany that I had. Why I'm in front of this audience, and I'm going, I'm never going to present that. I said, this audience taught me something today. It's my stuff. Like, so, but that's what I'm saying. What was it? It was the repetition of doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And then all of a sudden you go, well, wait a minute. The answer's right here in front of me. So, it's just important, right? It's the next one. It's the next one. It's the next one. And you just have to keep going and moving forward, to your point. Even when you don't want to, you do it anyway.
So look, we're doing, I think next month we're doing a webinar together, right? We're gonna go over the OneTapConnect product in great detail, and you're gonna be able to teach how to sell with it, why it's more beneficial. But let's talk about the service, the product, the software. Like, let's just kind of get into maybe why you created it, and then let's quickly go into how to properly use it and why it's had such a huge impact when done right.
So I know we got like 8-9 minutes left, so I'll make it quick. 2017, guy comes in my office that was a partner of mine in the flooring business. We did millions of dollars in flooring together. Now I'm at my office at the time at Lightspeed VT, because I'm doing the whole online training thing. I still have my hand in the home service business, and my buddy shows up with one of his friends. My buddy is originally from Israel. He shows up with this other guy, just got off the plane from Jerusalem. He's a tech guy. He says, show Charlie. Right? The guy pulls something up on his phone. It's a digital card. He tells his friend, my friend, tells his friend, if anyone can help you take this to market, it's Charlie. I look at it. I go, wow, this is a kind of a cool concept. I'm all about the networking and shaking hands, and business cards really don't say who you are, what you do. I almost give the guy 50 grand to be his partner. But as I dug down the rabbit hole, I didn't like it. It basically was a digital card. It took what was on here on the paper card and made it digital. But I liked the concept. Then I started buying a bunch of stuff off the shelf. You name it, I bought it, I used it, I didn't like it. Okay, fast forward to 2020, these guys come to one of my events that I did here in Vegas. I put about 220 business owners in a room for a weekend and taught them my whole expose and close concept. And these guys said, we can make your digital card better. I said, great. Build it around my sales process. They built it around my sales process. They went a little sideways on me. I'm home complaining to my wife. My wife goes, stop being a dumbass, as only a wife could tell her husband, right? She goes, I'm tired of hearing you bitch about what you don't like, and this person, just do it yourself. I got so mad, Jonathan. I went to my computer, start getting on Upwork or whatever, looking for programmers and coders. This guy calls me with a French accent. He says his name is Ghislaine. He goes, yep, I can help you. Yep, I can probably do that. Yep. I go, where are you located? He said, Las Vegas. I live in Vegas. I'm like, you're kidding, right? He goes, no. I hire the guy as a contractor. Hire him as a contractor. I said, I'll just start making these at arm's length, right? I'm going to use this for my other businesses. If people want it, I'll make side money. I'll pay for my daughter's school. Well, then we went to some shows, some conferences, right? Roofing conferences. And I started selling, 40 grand, 50 grand in a couple days. And I knew it had legs. And then we started going to HVAC conferences and this conference and that conference. And then in 2023, 2022, we decided to call it OneTapConnect. I was still kind of doing it off my kitchen table as a side hustle. 2023, we got an office, and now we've had, videos go viral on Facebook, 4.1 million views, and Instagram. And I've got contractors, realtors, chiropractic, people using it all over the country. Why?
So I'm going to pull this up while you're talking, right? So I just want everyone, it'll come into focus here in just a second. I want everyone to
There you go. Yeah. So
what this looks like. Yeah.
Why is it important? Because I wanted at the first point of contact to have impact and influence on somebody. So now I can take out a smart card. Okay. That looks like this. I can tap your phone. I can QR code it. I can text it to you. And then I get 10 to 30 seconds to literally put my PowerPoint presentation, for lack of a term, right? But to put my microsite on someone's phone and introduce myself, build rapport, gain credibility, position myself as an expert,
yep,
ask permission to add my information to their contacts, and then book an appointment with them on the spot.
And just so everyone is aware, like, here's my page of apps here. When this comes into focus, we're going to see Charlie's, there's his right there, right? Yep. Right where my finger is there. And so Charlie put this on my phone at the conference. I've never taken it off. And so, like, all I got to do is click that, and I see everything I want. I can get to his website. I can email him. I can see all the videos. And so think about that in terms of these technicians or these comfort consultants, when they're in someone's home, I just feel the trust factor that gives the customer to be able to see something so professional and so clean, and to get, now it may be this one comfort consultant's in their home. The rest of the information on that page could be all about the company. It could be testimonials, video testimonials from that company. But to have that card, that mini site dedicated to that person, that technician or that salesperson, it allows that customer to be able to clearly see who they're dealing with, some information about him or her, and then you get everything else on the company. Now, if you are any other kind of sales role, if you're the owner of the business, well, it may be a lot of information about you. It's your email, it's your contact information. But I just think being able to share that so easily with people, to tap their phone with the wristband or with the little pop, what do you call those?
The bumper.
The bumper.
Yeah.
To easily be able to get so much information. There it is. So much information so quickly. And I think it makes a first impression. And I think first impressions are so important. And so I'm super excited. In a month or so from now, we're going to do an event together where you're going to show it and teach it and give everybody the full understanding of how this works. But
yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, my whole expose and close sales formula concept, right?
Yep.
Formula, I should say. It's not a concept. It works. It's a proven system that I've used, and it's helped me close $2.5 million deals at the Wynn Resort. Like, I've used it. It works. I built OneTapConnect around that formula. And then we're going to show people why this, a digital card or a paper card, is just a transfer of information. If you're a contractor of any sorts, you're in the transformation business, and that's what OneTapConnect is going to show your prospect. Why you're an expert in the transformation you provide. So we're going to teach you how you can text this to people if it's an incoming phone call, and book an appointment over the phone. We're going to teach you, if you're at Starbucks and someone says, do you have a card? How literally in 2 minutes you could tap their phone, book an appointment with that person on the spot. We're going to show you how to use it as a training tool for your sales team or your techs, how you use it as a Google review magnet to get Google reviews from people on the spot rather than trying to chase your clients to give you Google reviews. We're going to teach you how to use it as a closing tool at the kitchen table and or an upgrade tool while you're in the home to get people to upgrade to additional products or services right now while you're in the home. And then lastly, and I know we need to wrap this up, we're going to teach you how to drop it on people's phone, right? So it sits like an app.
Yep.
It won't require a download, but I call this presence by absence. Okay, so later when you leave that person, that prospect or client, and they go for dinner, what are they going to talk about? I just got a new HVAC unit. Who did it? This guy, Jonathan. Oh, really? How do I reach them? They click on your microsite. They transfer your information to their friend, their relative, and now you're getting repeat and referral business. So it's going to be a webinar of value and substance where we're going to present to you how to use the tool, but all the moves necessary to make sure not only can you be high tech, but most importantly, high touch, so you can be closer to those prospects, close more deals at higher price points.
I love it. I am looking forward to it. I've seen your presentation, and that's what obviously made me buy it in Austin at the event. And I am super excited to let contractors from all walks of life be able to, in my opinion, I think elevate their way of doing business. And I think it's amazing for sales, but I think from a brand presentation, if you just want to look at branding, I think this puts your branding in a completely different category than your competitors. Yeah, we can email you something, because even if the techs don't carry business cards and stuff with them, like I just feel that, again, you don't even have to have them for individual people. You could have everyone gets one, but it could have the same information on it. But I would want to present my company in a way where do you want to see some stuff on our company? Here's some video testimonials from some of our happy customers. Here's some work that you can see that we've done in your local area. Here's some of the people we work with. Here's our TikTok and YouTube channel, like whatever. But this would convey to me as a consumer, this is a company that is well put together with proof. This is who I want to work with compared to here's a brochure of all the stuff that we do.
I'll leave you with this because I know we need to jump. What we're going to do, and one of my mentors, his name is Dr. Nito Quabain. The guy's brilliant. Started off as a sales trainer years back. Now he's the president of a university called High Point University in High Point, North Carolina. He sent me a video today on what's called the DA, the differential advantage. What's the differential advantage of your company? And that's my whole reason for creating OneTapConnect. So at the first point of contact, not only can you brand position and differentiate yourself, not only will you have impact and influence on that individual, but when you leave them, there will be a crystal clear and apparent differential advantage of why you're the best and why they should hire you. And that's what Jonathan and I are going to cover on that webinar in mid-October.
I can't wait. I love that. Let's make sure that we talk about DA and some great substance. Charlie, I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. We will do this again, but we will definitely be bringing so much value to the webinar coming up next month. I appreciate you, buddy.
Looking forward to it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.